Hello! Boxing, much like life, is ever evolving, changing as people find new and more innovative ways to play their game. When one method becomes too traditional, another one comes along exploiting its holes. It's an endless cycle of old kings losing their throne to the younger, craftier one. But sometimes, when one gets caught up looking for the next best method, we forget the foundations laid by the kings of old. We forget their wisdom, and as time passes, the world looks completely different from what it once was. Then, once in a blue moon, a common man stumbles across the wisdom of old, the pure foundations of their art, and with that as his focus, rises a new king of old. Guillermo Rigondeaux's style is simple. Like a game of Snake, at first glance, it looks like something anyone can do, a game anyone could play. As the game goes on, it demands more and more skill, and you realize that yes, sure, anyone could play this game, but not everyone could master it. Standing as a southpaw and typically only armed with a jab cross or 1-2, Rigondeaux is a counterpuncher who has no guard to block punches. He doesn't have a high guard or Floyd's shoulder roll, and as a result, yeah, sure, he has been clipped in his career, but nonetheless, he takes way less blows than the average boxer, and really, he's undefeated for a reason. His main defense is not just an explosive ability to pull, slip, step, or duck away, but with his ice-cold gaze. He is a master at reading and manipulating his opponent's rhythm like no one else in the game. Rhythm can be classified as cyclic weight distribution from lead foot to back foot, or just a cycle of movements with its beat being each movement or each time weight is distributed. Once a rhythm is established, they can be classified as a cadence, recurring sequences of rhythm, which Rigondeaux has a masterful eye at observing. Rigondeaux's style has no fancy elements to it. He simply excels at understanding and manipulating this core boxing philosophy. He feels and understands your rhythm, and using simple yet explosive movement, reacts to its breaks, say with a counterpunch, or exploiting movements in between each beat or half beat in your rhythm simply with a jab cross. But how does he manipulate it? It's fascinating how you can draw parallels in southpaw philosophy even in MMA. It's very similar to what Conor McGregor does with his right hand. A southpaw standing against an orthodox typically uses his right hand not to land the jab, but as an instrument to set up the left power shot. The jab traditionally functions like this regardless of your stance, but as a southpaw, this function is increased due to your opponent's left hand and left foot obstructing your way when you try to go in with your right hand and right foot. Thus, Rigondeaux focuses primarily on devastating his opponents with his left, while his right baits the opponent out of their rhythm into, say, attacking, to which he can counter against. You can pressure them out of their rhythm, making them step away, thus letting you dictate their pace out of that natural rhythm. Obstructing their vision, he can use the right hand to hypnotize, distract them into a left hand power shot when they are too idle, too pressured by your counter-punching nature. Basically, using it as a tool to force reactions outside of their rhythm, then reading and reacting to those reactions. Thus, it becomes a tool to force behavior and exploit patterns of behavior you've observed throughout the match. This is core boxing philosophy, but Rigondeaux is undefeated because in this game of Snake, he simply plays it at a higher level than everyone else. Anyone with a bit of boxing understanding can see this, but when you don't, it's understandable as to why Rigondeaux is so unpopular in proportion to the success he's had. Why his full-length fights for the most part don't entertain the average consumer. Because by being very black and white, in and out, he almost looks like that game of Snake anyone could play. Of course, to the educated or experienced eye, that is far from the truth, and if anything, teaches us he truly is a talent explainable only through anomaly. As Freddie Roach has said, one of the most talented boxers he's ever seen in his life. It's much easier to exploit a knowledge advantage over your opponent than it is to simply be better than them at the same game, especially at the highest levels. That is how Jiu-Jitsu stomped an entire era of martial artists. Knowledge advantage, because in a blind man's world, the one who has one eye is king. And so, Truly, an appreciation for Rigondeaux beyond his explosive highlights is a genuine appreciation for boxing itself, the art and science of its foundation. In the same way, some people can't appreciate, say, fashion shows, elegant cheeses, or wines, golfing, curling. Without genuine interest and a degree of education, Rigondeaux's style, simply put, is boring. But for that same reason shows us how incredibly talented he truly is. Finishing note, none of what Rigondeaux is would be possible unless he had that calm and almost dead gaze. He's completely unemotional, and who knows why. Maybe it's because he left his family to pursue his passion, not speaking English in an English-speaking country, being banned from boxing in his home, Cuba, by Fidel Castro, rejection, solitude, abandoning cherished ones, paired with that calm demanded from any high skill and technical game, if it were to be played that way. All of these partially explain why Rigondeaux is so supremely calm, and in essence, that mind is the root of his incredible defense despite having no guard. And to that end, regardless of what game you play in life, I wish you played at your best, and for many, that best may be calm. And regardless of your story, is wisdom we can all take from Guillermo Rigondeaux. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you did. It's good karma. And until next time, peace.